Blog Talk Radio.
Oh God, help me in this situation. If she don't care if I don't say, just give me a way to escape it, 'cause I'm about to misbehave. I'm about to misbehave.
Hard for me to be pure, and the pretty girls today good girls, but it's hard for me to be sure. Got your favorite thing and sending naked pictures. I know you broken, I can't fix you. I'm all alone, that's when I miss you. You dope, but I'm looking for a cure. But then I find X is all in my bed, X is all in my head. Just texted that it's over, but I'm sending X knows instead. I see you working, baby, just twerking, baby. Never found love, but you searching, baby. It only seems like it's worth it lately, 'cause lonely people wanna feel safety. And you've been feeling so let down, you just want someone around to pick your heart up off the ground. I know, issues I should never say, but I never seem to go, no. And we ain't playing no hill song, nah. She like to do it all with no heels on. Tiptoeing, cross the line we shouldn't cross. All the things that go on when the lights go off.
Help me in this situation. If she don't get that, I'll say, just give me a way to escape it, 'cause I'm about to misbehave. I'm about to misbehave. I like them short girls with long hair, yeah. In that dress working it gon' work, uh-oh, she know I lie, and she know for life.
Bruh, if you don't help me out, I'm going up on this couch, and we won't be playing no hill song, yeah. 'Cause she only likes some true songs, God, I need a way of escape, yeah. Have somebody call me or something, yeah. Get a sex party or something. Yeah, y'all fake, but I'm real, and if you really wanna be real, when she put some red leggings on, it's just to go to the chill, not the father, but with my wealth. All I ever hear about is wait until you get married, but that 5 feet or that 5'5", with no ring, she still fine, so
help me in this situation, 'cause she don't care that I'm safe. Just give me a way to escape it, 'cause I'm about to misbehave. I'm about to misbehave. I'm about to misbehave. I'm about to misbehave. Yeah, yeah. Run Joseph, run Joseph, run Joseph, run boy. Run Joseph, run Joseph, run Joseph, run boy. Run Joseph, run Joseph, run Joseph, run boy. Run Joseph, run Joseph. I'm about to misbehave.
Hi. How y'all doing today? This is Taboo Talk. I'm Canson. My co-host is Essence. You on the line, Essence?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? We are glad to see another day. Praise God. How y'all doing today? Hope everything is well. How you doing, Cam?
I am excited. I cannot wait to hear what they have to say on this subject. I think women assume, and you make an ass of yourself when you assume, so I would much rather ask and let them share their side of it. Side chicks have taken over, and I'm starting to wonder, are the hoes winning? So that's the topic of the show. Are the hoes winning?
Yeah.
What's going on? It used to be trophy wives, now it's side chicks. And we have some very special guests on today. And I think they're going to be excited to hear what they got to say, too. What you think?
I am definitely excited to hear what the gents have to say about the side chick. Gentlemen, I would love for you to, one by one, if you can, go ahead and going to, let's see here. We're going to go ahead and bring you guys live so that you can introduce yourselves. Okay, and one by one, let's say, Rollo, you on there?
Yeah, I can go first.
Okay, go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right, I go by Rollo DeSante. My birth name, is government classified top secret, so can't tell you. Anyway.
Okay.
Just kidding. But I'm a 40-year-old native Memphian that currently resides in Houston. If you need any more of my biography, then let me know. But that's all I got right now.
Well, no, we're good.
Nice to
okay,
meet you,
who's
Rollo.
the next 10?
Nice meeting you.
Chris, you up?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Chris.
Okay. I'm Chris Beavers. The author of an unedited book on Kindle. It's called Materials Needed for Your Next Relationship. I am 39 years old. I am also a native Memphian, but I currently reside in the city of Memphis. And I'm happy to be on your show today, and I look forward to this fiery topic.
All right. Well, it's definitely a fiery topic for sure. Brandon, you're up next.
Yes, this is Brandon Forbes, local Facebook clown extraordinaire. I post pictures, I post videos, I post pertinent information, and I'm also happy to be a part of the show. And when Essence approached me about the topic, I just smiled from ear to ear because I have this conversation on a weekly basis. So I'm glad to be able to put my 2 cents in.
Exactly. Well, we definitely appreciate you being on here. And you gentlemen, all of you gentlemen, always put very pertinent information up on Facebook. This is one of the reasons why we wanted you guys specifically on the show. We may have some more gentlemen tune in with us later. But this topic of the side chick, sis, I don't even know where to begin. Well, you know what, I do. I want to because we do keep it biblical here. And so I want to start off with Hebrews 13:4-5, where it says that marriage is honorable among all, and the bed is undefiled. But for fornicators and adulterers, God will judge. Let your conduct be without covetousness. Be content with such things as you have, for he himself has said, I will never leave nor forsake you. And I think that is very fitting for this topic, for the simple fact that is this just men and women being covetous when they take on side pieces? And I think this is something that's going to be really interesting that we can, already as it is, just such matters as adultery, we totally understand it is wrong. But what about when you're dating and you're not even married to the person and you're just having a side affair? Like what? We're going to figure out all this during this show, I'm sure, with all these different male perspectives, and I think we're even going to get the chance to get the female perspective of the side chick, and besides our own. And I'm really excited, sis. What you got to say?
Man, I love my black men, and I'm so tired of. I feel like they're misunderstood. All black men are categorized as dogs, players, or homosexual, because gay is supposed to be the new black. So it's crazy. It's like either they're thugs, jailbird, homosexual, dog, spend more time understanding their point of view versus labeling them. So I'm excited about it. We do have a guest on who will be coming from a female perspective. Her name is Kima Candy. So I'm sure she's going to have something to say, but I definitely want to hear from the men first.
Okay. Well, I have some questions. Can I start off? I have some. We have a list of questions, gentlemen, and don't worry. We want each of you to answer each question. If you think the other gentleman answered it the same, then just say ditto. The show's going to be an hour and a half, so we do have some time, but this time is going to fly by really quickly. We're going to try not to talk over one another. I don't want to have to mute anyone. it's showing that we're getting some other calls in, but we're going to go ahead and if you could just hold tight, callers. So I want to know this. What's the difference between what a man looks for in a wife as opposed to what they get out of the side chick? Like, if you're not, and this is just specifically the wife, because I know if you're dating someone, you're still trying to probably figure it out or something like that. But in a wife, it's like if you're not getting that in the wife, or I don't know, what happens there, you know, to where you're still wanting the side chick? I need to know. Okay, I'm sorry.
Good question.
Let's go through names. Okay, come on, Rollo, let's start with you. I'm just going to always go down the same.
In order. Yeah, because he has a lot to say, I see. I'm on his profile now.
Oh, yeah. Him and Brandon.
Right.
Well, I think side pieces provide the role of a filler. And when a man marries a woman that he settles for, but that he doesn't really love, and he's a side piece, because if you marry for love, then that woman's going to be all that you need in one woman. But if she's not what you need in one woman, then you're still searching. So what? If you're still searching, then you're going to have a side piece. So what a side piece basically does is fulfill lacking in his marriage. And it may be sex, it may be a prettier face, a better body, even cooking and conversation. So that's what I think side pieces are.
Wow.
I think this is going to be very hard for me to hold my tongue, sis. It's going to be hard for me to hold my tongue.
Yeah, you're going to have to hold it.
Okay. But I'm going to hold it.
We got to give each of them at least 10 minutes each.
Okay. Brandon, go ahead.
Could you repeat the question for me? Because I was just listening to Rollo, and I basically echo his sentiments. But if you could repeat the question.
Yes. What is the difference between what a man looks for in a wife as opposed to what they get out of the side chick? Like, why not marry the side chick if what you want, you want everything that the side chick has? Like, you have to have that.
Okay.
So why not marry a woman like that? So what are the differences?
Well, the thing is a lot of times people get married for the wrong reasons. And they may marry the right person for the wrong reason. And it's only when you get into the marriage that you see what you should have seen before you even made that commitment. I hear a lot of guys say, you know, one of the main complaints that I hear from my married friends is, man, you know, my wife just doesn't want to have sex with me as often as I want to. And I'm so mad. I'm so I'm pent up. I can't do what I need to do. And the thing is that it's not her fault. It's their fault, because a lot of these guys, their wife is having sex with them and having the same type of sex with them that she always had. It's just that now that they're not married, they aren't sleeping with 6 or 7 other women anymore. And so, you know, if you're a guy that's running the streets and you have just say a main piece and a side piece, then, you know, it's cool if your main piece is only going to have sex with you once every 2 weeks or something, because all the other time you're trying to get it in with the side piece. But then when you get married and you call yourself getting reformed, then, you know, you cut everybody off, and then you realize, oh man, I only get some once every 3 weeks. But that's what she always did. So a lot of the times it's the mentality of the guy that leads to them feeling like they need somebody else and not being satisfied with the woman that will actually take care of the children, that will support them, that will be able to bounce ideas back and forth with them. And so they set up a scenario that leads to them being dissatisfied.
Wow. Okay, I can understand that. Chris, your take?
I don't see it that way. I see it as we have become insatiable. And for those who are unfamiliar with that word, it simply means unable to be satisfied. And, you know, we, a lot of times as, I'm going to say, I'm going to make a general statement, which is what I should not do, but I am going to do it. As young black men in black communities, we don't really understand covenant because we don't a lot of times we don't have an example of what a covenant relationship looks like. And a covenant is not broken just because you experience some unsatisfactory behavior in the person that you're in covenant with. A covenant goes beyond, I wasn't satisfied on this occasion, or you didn't please me here. Covenant is not broken because something didn't go my way for 6 months. A covenant is supposed to be forever. And the problem is we have not been taught, we have not been shown the example of what a real covenant looks like. We have not been shown the example of what it's supposed to look like to cover the person that you're in covenant with. And so because it's so easy for us to walk away from everything we've ever been committed to, then it's easy for us to walk away from a woman that we're supposed to be committed to. It's easy for us to walk away from children that we're supposed to be fathering. And so the problem in my mind is we don't know what a covenant looks like. We're so used to just being able to divorce a job, being able to divorce anything that we don't like, we divorce it. That is our mentality. We walk away. And so it's so easy to look at something else and say, well, I'm just going to get that because what I have is not working for me. And so it starts with a mentality. That's what I think. That's my opinion.
Oh, okay. So now here's the thing is that, sis, I know you got questions too, sis. You know my thing. Now I'm going to tell you, this is very touchy to me. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there because I was a wife and things were, and I also dealt with knowing that there were side chicks. Now, keep in mind, I give him all the credit still that it wasn't while we were together. We had separated, but we were still under a covenant. And so from that, he's still with the last woman that he was with. Now, now here's my question now. She did not know. Now, supposedly, she did not know that that he was married and married to me. And she and I, me and this girl, get along really well. You know, after the fact, and we talked. I found out, so I found her information. I called her. We talked, and I just went on and left. You know, and there were a lot of lies that were told. So now, when this woman is really believing, especially the type of work schedule that he had, it was very, and she had a crazy work schedule. So to her, the scheduling was very normal. It didn't come off as anything weird. And so she really thought she was the only one. Okay, so in this case, should the side chick really get the bad rep? Because she didn't know.
Exactly.
But let me. It's not about. You see, it's really not about her. It's about the person who's putting her in that position.
Right.
And if the man is telling her whatever he's telling her, she doesn't know you, she doesn't know of you. All she knows is what she's being told. Then how can she be blamed for being the victim of deception? So it's really not about her. It's really about the person who's putting her in that position to be a third party or to become part of a lover's triangle. But I'm telling you, it's not about what you're looking at. What you're looking at is just the symptom. You're not looking at the root of the problem. If you want to get to the root of the problem, then you have to go into the heart of the person who is doing the cheating, and that's where the root of the problem is, and you would have to understand why that person is going out to have that affair or to break that covenant. That's where the problem is.
So are you saying it makes it okay?
No, I'm not condoning it in any way. I'm saying the essence is looking at the fact that she was lied to and that the other woman was lied to, and that's just the surface. But the problem is in the heart of the person who was doing the lying. The problem is in the heart of the person who was doing the deceiving. And so if you really want to solve that problem, then you're going to have to get into his heart, because that's where the problem is.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, that's a very good point. Okay.
Well, I'm wondering. Okay. Go ahead, sis. My bad.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Let me actually, if you can make sure that he's on and able to speak. He's calling from a 331 number. If you could click him in.
Okay.
We have somebody on, and they just one of our callers, and I received a few messages, and I think it's very imminent that we let him speak, because he has been very, very outspoken about this, and so I think we'll get a very interesting point of view. Caller, if you're on, you're calling from the 331 number. I don't want to introduce you, so we'll keep you anonymous, but what do you have to say about this?
Hello, everyone.
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I just wanted to say, first of all, to touch on the original question, in respects to why men cheat or why they have a side chick. In some marriages, it could be a loving marriage. It could be, two people that love one another unequivocally. So when that man decides that, okay, he has another female friend, that doesn't mean he loves his wife any less.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that he married the wrong woman. It does not mean. So, okay.
Let me make sure I'm understanding you. You're saying that a man, just because he may have stepped out of his relationship and had a side chick, whether it was ongoing or not, you're saying that doesn't compromise the love he has for his wife, nor does it say that it's something she's not doing or something she's doing wrong. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, let me ask you this question. A lot of times women have sex with a man, and 9 times out of 10 it actually means something. It means something when a woman has sex with a man. But in most cases, a man could have sex with a woman and it means absolutely nothing to him other than sex.
Okay, hold that thought. So, Rollo, Brandon, do you guys agree with that, with what he's saying?
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. It's funny why he was making that comment, because I've made the same comment several times having this conversation. Generally, when a woman does have sex with a man, she has some type of feeling or some type of like for that guy. But men have a disconnect. Not all men, but a lot of men have a disconnect where a guy could absolutely hate your guts, but if you have a big butt and you'll let him have some of it, he wants it still. And that's honest truth. Now, it's not the most responsible way, and I'm not condoning it or saying it's right, but it does happen.
Okay. Rollo, your take on this. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Women in general, they equate sex more emotionally than they do physically. That's just generally. So men are more physical and they like to see visual excitement when they're having sex, whatever. They disconnect, and therefore that's why they cheat, and that's when they're caught up in the world and they can't disconnect the flesh from the spirit. So with the man that's more spiritually sound, he can control his flesh a lot easier. Therefore, I can't say a man loves his wife any less if he has a side chick, because if he has a side chick, he doesn't love his wife. You can only love your wife one woman at a time, love one woman at a time. You can't be in love with two different women. So either she has your whole heart or none of it at all. So that's why
and I think that this is I think this is a good point, because I think, Anonymous has a good point, because there is something, different people have different perspectives on love. And I believe that what Rollo said is important as well. And I heard Chris back there laughing in disagreement, I already know. But, I think that different men, depending on what they have grown accustomed to, or depending upon the things that they've experienced as what's been best for them or not, can shape what love is for them. And of course, on the show we take the stance from a biblical love, the biblical perspective on God. And of course, we know that God talks about the bride being one body, not multiple bodies, but being one body, and that is his bride. And anything outside of that is adultery. Just like we worship one God, that is, the one husbandman, you know what I mean, or bridegroom. So it's like, so we understand that generally, for the most part, it's like it's supposed to be, the one man, he's supposed to give his all to this one woman, right? I have to also say, I also agree with Rollo, though, because it's also a perspective of you only, how can I say this? It could be a reflection of your spiritual self. If there are things you're unpleased with or not settled with within yourself, the dysfunction seems to be more with the man if he feels he needs to get more, that he can't just get it from one woman. But once again, that all boils down to that person's own perspective. Sis, do you have a specific question you want to ask? Because I have like so many more, and I hope. And gentlemen, when we answer these questions,
I hate to try to go. I've been letting you go, girl. I've been trying to hold it in. I got to get this out. First, let me say I completely agree. Actually, people in the chat are saying they totally agree with Rollo. They totally agree with the anonymous male caller. I'm going to let a female caller. She wants to respond, and I think it's very pertinent that we hear what she has to say also. But I must remind everybody, no one is judging here. There are no wrong or right answers. This is simply us, because the black community has been destroyed by hip-hop, by the mentality of having to have so many women. And what's starting to happen is women are almost willing to do anything to get a man. And I know some women that have men that are bisexual, and they're like, I'm not leaving him. I want to stay with him. I love him. I'm not leaving him. And I think the culture has a big impact on our points of view. So I'm going to click her in, but I just had to say that because there's no right or wrong answer. Caller, you're calling from the 827 number. Are you there?
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Miss Anonymous Caller. So what do you have?
I know my phone may drop because I'm in Atlanta, but I had to call you ladies because I love you so much.
Oh,
we love you too.
So sweet.
Basically, I've been listening, and I think it was Rollo, I believe, and I can't think of the other guy's name. When he was on Brandon about a covenant and being, in a marriage. And I was debating on, well, what should I say being a woman? Because I've been on a lot of sides of it. And I think Essence was speaking when she said she's been married. I've been married. And I think a lot of this is the culture, like you were saying, Campson, where we are seeing in the industry, because I've been in the industry, the entertainment business a long time. If everybody's saying fuck a hoe, sleep with a hoe, big booty, you know, then that's what they're going to do. Also, if you don't know who you are, then you attract anything. A lot of people are married and they shouldn't be married, because my parents, I grew up, you know, father pastored the church, and it was the thing. When you get older, get married, get a husband, have children, and I found myself in a marriage where I was this good wife, all the, you know, be this, everything he wants, and yet and still he went out and he cheated. Not for something that I did. It was a little bit of lack of money on his end, but he did not know how to be a man, nor did he know what he wanted, nor was I ready to be married at that age. But I went with what the culture says, get married, you know, go to college, get married, the family, and now I'm not in that. Another thing, with the side chicks and the side pros and all of that, if everybody wants to be Mary Jane and Olivia Pope, and they think they don't settle for less. No, you know, that's fiction. That's a TV show. So that's one thing. I dated a rapper and club owner and all this. And it used to be a time back in the day when grandmama knew that grandpa was cheating, but he was over with Willie Mae across the bridge. But Willie Mae knew her place, right or wrong. They never crossed paths, but that was before Twitter. That was before GPS. That was before grandpa had a cell phone. And grandmama had to trust him based on what she knew about him. But she knew that he was sleeping with Maylou across town. And they would probably go shopping together, but Maylou never said a word to her. Nowadays, dating a rapper, ball player, hoes will walk up to you to be disrespectful. I'm sleeping with your man, and you are supposed to stand there, take it, and say, oh, okay, I'm cool. No, I'm not cool with it. I'm going to throw the deuces at your ass, and I'm going to holler at you. So, I understand with covenant. I get it. I've been there, done that. But we living in a day of time, people don't know who they are. If they don't even know if they want a hamburger or french fries today, how do you expect him to say, yes, I do want to be committed? If it's free out here without commitment. I've been on that end of the spectrum where it's like, do I want to be a bitter-ass woman because I've been cheated on because this person had issues? Or should I just move on and enjoy life? No, I think I'm going to take life for 5,000, Pat say Jack. And I've been on that end where it was a guy in a relationship and he was married. And, and I asked him, I said, well, why do you cheat? You know, you have a pretty wife. Well, what's the problem? Well, I'm happy. No, you're not, because when I was married, I didn't have to cheat because I was happy with what I had. Now, when I left him, I left him alone because I'm like, no, I ain't got time for this. But I don't care about, like, poor Gabrielle Union. I love her so dearly. But she made an apology. She said, well, Dwayne Wade cheated on me, and it's not your fault. Because just because that woman laid down and presented the opportunity, you could have said, well, no, I'm cool on you, baby.
She did say it.
I'm sorry. I wasn't around enough. No, I can be gone. But if you're going to do what you want to do, then you're going to do what you want to do. And then that's just, I don't know. I feel like with women now, we beginning to settle, well, he's buying me these red bottoms, and he bought me this new Jeep, you know, this new Bentley, and I know he got women. No, brother, I'm going to tell you what we going to do. You can do what you want to do, but you won't do what you want to do with me. Because men really don't like when women flip their game back on them. And it's like, I tell you what, then you're going to be my side piece. How you like that? I told the man that, he said, no, that's not acceptable. I said, that's not acceptable.
And I want to say this.
But you sleeping.
Yeah. Let me say this.
And that's all I got to say.
She just mentioned a really good point. Well, thank you, Sister Girl. You are awesome. Thank you so much for calling in, because that was really insightful from a woman's perspective. And I want to just go off of something she just said, which is really important. I've seen a lot of men make statements that women can't have side pieces because, and I think they're assuming that because we don't think the same way that they think. And really, in all actuality, what I've noticed is that we'll cheat with the man emotionally as well as physically and for financial reasons. So in the main man will never know. he would never know, because a woman generally won't, shift her schedule so dramatically or anything like that, because she's been cheated on so many times that she already knows the pattern of a cheater. And he will look at those very same things. He'll notice it because he's done them. So she'll cheat in a different way. And it'll be, so don't mistake. Women have side pieces just as much, maybe not in the same way, definitely, but women have side pieces as well. I've seen it too many times.
I've had guys that I just use for emotional,
exactly. Yeah, that's a big one. And so, yeah, it's not. It really isn't. And I think it really boils down to a heart issue. And I want to say this, though, getting back to the topic, specifically, are the side chicks winning? Because you look at Angelina Jolie, you look at Michelle McGee, the chick that took Sandra Bullock's man, Gabrielle Union, look at Alicia Keys, look at who? You know what I mean? Like,
that's a really
something
good
is going
point.
on, because the side pieces are becoming the wives.
Exactly, and that's what I want to know. Men, and I'm going to let you all respond one at a time. What can you give us as advice for women? Should we continue to try to please men, be everything we think they need us to be to keep them, or should we remain single, do what we feel is right based on our beliefs and knowing ourselves, because a lot of us may end up with 1,000 cats by ourselves, and I don't think no woman wants to end up like that. But no, we don't want to end up compromising so much where we lose ourselves within the man. So I just want to give each of the guys a chance, because the chat line is blowing up, and people are saying, let's hear what the guys have to say based on what the women said. So if we could start off with Rollo. Rollo, what advice would you give us, and what do you have to say in response to this?
Okay, well, I think if a woman focuses on becoming the person that they want in a man, as far as commitment, being spiritual, being that person that they can lean on or whatever, being the person that they want in a mate, then they'll be fine. If that person will be attracted to them, they will attract that type of person. But they have to take that time to work on themselves before they can attract that type of person. And a lot of time women feel that their education or the fact that they can afford their own home or car, that they keep themselves up physically, is all that they really need, and that they're a great woman because they have those qualities. And it really goes a lot deeper than that. So, I mean, they should actually, I know it's old cliche, but you have to lose yourself in God before a good man can find you. That's my take on it.
Wow,
Brandon,
very
what's your
good
take?
point.
Brandon, what's your take?
Let Chris go. I think me and Rollo have been answering a lot of questions, and Chris answered the first question very well. So I like for him to get his opinion in, and I'll come in
Go
next.
ahead, Chris. Okay.
Oh.
Let's keep it to a minimum. We have like a bunch more questions.
Yeah, because we have one more guy.
Okay. Well, I wanted to. I was trying to catch you before the caller, the young lady caller came on, but I don't know. I kind of think that we're going about it all wrong. I think that we really need to review how we see ourselves, and I think we need to review how we see one another, because if like the gentleman said, if we're the gentleman caller that came on, he's saying, like he was saying that love, you don't love your wife any less just because you have somebody on the side. So I think first we need to understand what love is, and I think we need to understand what marriage is, and I think we need to understand who we are. And so there's just too many things that need to be defined before we can even go any further. Like, there's so many things that are not defined, because if we're going off of the basis that we're on now, then we're already lost. Like, so I really think it's going to have to go. I can't even answer the question right now, because there are so many things that are undefined right now that we really, I just don't have time to go into. And so, that's my answer.
And you can just answer from your own perspective, though. Definitely you can answer from your own perspective, though. It doesn't have to be that everyone is on one accord.
Definitely. Yeah. And we're going to do a part 2, because I have many people in the chat room right now saying, please do a part 2. So we definitely bring you back on, and maybe you'll be able to compose what you have to say in a little shorter amount of time.
Y'all know I like to talk, but Camden, I did want to say in response to something that you had said, just like 30 seconds. One of the things that a man looks for in a woman, one of the key things that a man looks for in a woman is respect.
Wow.
And if a man does not feel honored, if he does not feel respected, then that in itself will cause a man to look the other way, especially if he does not understand covenant. And most men in our communities don't understand covenant. But one thing the women in our community have a bad habit of doing is disrespecting a man. It's nothing for a woman to disrespect a man in our community. And so, but one of the main things that men need is respect. Intimacy with a man starts with respect. When a man feels respected by his woman, when he feels honored by his woman, that's where intimacy begins with a man. I can promise you that.
Agreed.
Yep. True.
Yeah, that is I 100% agree on that. Sis, I have to agree with that 100%. That's awesome.
I cannot. I definitely can't disagree with that. We have one more guy, the anonymous male caller. What do you have to say?
I just want to make a few points. When you use common sense and you think about any species that was created by God, okay, the male of that species, he populates that species. The male line bangs all of the female lines. Just hear me out before anyone miss my point.
No judging here, brother. No judging here. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Any species created, the male was genetically designed to fraternize with multiple female entities in that same species. So I said that to say, men were genetically designed to love women or to want women. That's just bottom line. We're genetically designed for that. Women are not genetically designed to want to sleep around with many men. Most women are not genetically designed to want to do that. Now, I said that to say, okay, as a married man, the only thing that kept me from fraternizing with many women was because of fear for God. Now, my wife is very beautiful. I love her to death. But yet and still, how I was genetically built, if I were to go with my flesh and let my flesh win, there is no way that I wouldn't want another woman. But
now I think he's really on point with that.
That's not genetic. That's not genetic. That's sin. That's not genetics. That's lust.
Let me finish. Let me finish. The fear of God and how he would punish me is what keeps me from saying, okay, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I can't do it. God's going to punish me for that. So for all of the women callers who's saying what should they look for in a man, the number one thing is whether he's handsome, whether he's attractive. Y'all can love each other's dirty draw. How he was genetically built, he's still a man. The one thing that you're gonna have to look for in that man is his relationship with God, and not most importantly, do he love God, but do he fear God? If he fear God, then there's certain things he's simply not gonna do. If he has no fear for God, then rest assured his flesh will win, and his flesh is gonna win.
All right, now that's very good insight. I really want to get these questions out. That was really good, and I think that was an excellent point because you still have in your carnal nature, if we're looking at this biblically, which we can look at it like that because it's our show and it's a biblical show, we know that there is a sin nature. The Bible says that we are enmity towards God. Until Christ himself is within us, we are enmity towards him. So these are, and it's funny because, the Bible says that God is love and that God is good, right? So it's interesting that if we're enmity towards God, that means that we're enmity towards what's God-givenly good, right? And what's interesting is that no woman wants to be played. No woman wants to be hurt. So if we know that we're going against God doing that, then best believe we should know that we're going against that spouse, whether it's a man or a woman, that we're driving a driving negative force against them. And so therefore, just within that context of not wanting to offend God, therefore we shouldn't do it, then we shouldn't do it at all, just all the way around, because we don't want to hurt that person the same way we don't want to hurt God. I think that some people separate God and the person, but really how we treat each other is how we treat God. So I think that's a really valid point. And I wanted to know something. Deep down, do men actually respect themselves if they've taken on a side chick? Do they really respect themselves? And vice versa.
I don't think it's an issue of respect. I really don't. I don't think it's an issue. I think to us it is. Women, we guard our vajayjay. Men guard their heart. That's the two differences I noticed between men and women. We will go out our way, to guard that and say, no, I'm not going to have sex with you. And you have books come out and say, Steve Harvey, don't have sex within the first 90 days. We do all of that, and it still doesn't really change the outcome of a lot of our relationships. But men always guard their heart. And I think that's something that we should learn from them. So I don't think it's an issue of respect. For a woman, yes, I think we're disrespecting our body to lay down with anybody. But for a man, because they don't get emotionally attached like women do, I think it's more so just the issue of their fallen nature, just being attracted to women and not having the fear of the Lord to prevent them from doing things. Am I right?
Well, chime in, Brandon, because I think Brandon has something to say there.
Well, from the perspective of a person that is not married and just trying to play the devil's advocate, if you're not married and you're having sex, then it's fornication, point blank. Everybody knows that. There also are not different levels of hell. So if you're going to have sex with one woman and not be married, if you're going to disrespect God and go against what he told you to do, then why not have sex with 2 women, 3 women, 4 women? Because it's not like it's not like God will say, well, I don't know what God will say, but for the scenario, it's not like you're gonna go to 500 degrees hell instead of 400 degrees hell because you had sex with 2 women instead of 1. Because by having sex with that one, you're still gonna burn. So in twisted man logic, it's like, okay, so I'm going to hell for one coochie. You know, I might as well get 10 if I'm going to go anyway. You know? And
I ain't going to lie. We women have that same logic sometimes, too. I can't even front. I was actually just saying something similar to the other day about that. Like, shoot, if you're going to do it, then go all the way with it. Yeah.
Go all the way.
However, there are STDs. You know, that's the whole thing, though. There are STDs and things like that we don't, you know, that's also an issue. So I think that's a very valid point as well, Brandon.
Yes, the punishment will definitely catch up to you if you are really out there in the street. It'll catch up to you.
Yes.
And the comment earlier about the 90 days and Steve Harvey. I always, and pretty much all of my guy friends, always laugh at the 90-day rule, because the thing is, just say that, you know, no woman wants to be told, hey, as soon as I take you out, then you're required to have sex with me right now. But at the same time, no man wants to be told, in order for me to get to know you, I have to hand over my sexual well-being. Because pretty much any man that's been having sex is going to keep having sex. And so a guy is not going to just say that if you had a job and you had to show up to your job every day for 90 days and work hard, and then at the end of those 90 days, your job say, you know what? I'm not even going to pay you. I'm going to hire somebody else. You fired. Then you feel stupid. So, you know, to a certain extent, some of us call the 90-day rule the who can tell the best lie game. Because the dude is pretending like he's waiting the 90 days, and the woman is pretending like she's waiting the 90 days. Yeah, she's making him wait, but she still has her old budget that she had before him coming through to scratch her itch when it comes up.
Ooh. Did you really just say that? Ooh.
I mean, it's true story. True story.
You just spilled all over me. So, okay, so let me ask this question. Now, since I know you know I'm kind of the wild one on here, so I got to keep it real.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so with that being said, because I've dealt in the entertainment industry for many, many years, and the difference that I noticed is men with money are more capable to fulfill their sexual fantasies, desires, and even things they were just curious about because it's just readily available to them. A lot of men that I meet are just too broke to do it. So somewhere they'll be like, my guy is a really good guy. He's so sweet. He does this and that. But he doesn't have the access. If he's broke and struggling, it's different. But when you have money, when you're financially stable and you're in an environment where everything is on a silver platter waiting on you, it kind of makes the stuff in that man manifest. And I just want to check and see if I'm right according to the men's point of view. Does having financial stability and what you do as far as your career affect this also? And if we could start with the anonymous caller and work our way back up.
It definitely does. I'm what you would consider someone that is per se financially stable. And I've been told that I'm kind of like, you know, very pleasant on the eyes of what you may say. So with those attributes, women throw themselves at me. Now, it may not be typical women typical women, they probably wouldn't. But I'm talking about women that, you know, with careers and women that are very active and women that, you know, some other guy would give his right toe to just take out on a date. These are the type of women that comes at you. So as a man, you know, with means to do things, it's definitely more of a challenge to you know, to remain in that covenant, like one of the gentlemen said. You know, you could be a married man, you know, you can love your wife to death, but if Angelina Jolie comes up to you and say, hey, I like that nice suit you have on, I see you in first class, how about you fly me to Miami? Now, you can love your wife, but your flesh is going to say, wait a minute, Okay, Angelina, let me book your fight. But then on the other hand, you may have your conscience over here saying, God don't get me if I do that. So you cannot, if you feel as though you're a man and that you're not faced with temptations of a woman, then I don't know what to really say behind it, because, I mean, every man is genetically built to want women. And, you know, to answer the original question, if you have means, it's much more easier. You're much more a target for women. They're going to come at you. The cream of the crop is going to come at you. And it's just going to be a constant battle.
It's a lot more temptation.
More temptation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
A lot more temptation. You're gonna, it's just something within you that you're gonna have rules within yourself. And ladies, another thing, when you do find that husband, I mean, if he loves you and you love him unequivocally, that's fine. But let me rest assured, love ain't enough. Love is simply not enough. He is gonna have to be cut from a particular cloth that he is so disciplined to the point that he don't let his own ego, his own self-gratifications, him needing to constant reassurance that he's the man. He's gonna have to know who he is, and he's gonna have to have strict rules that he lives by in order for you guys' relationship to be fruitful. Just because you love each other, that's not enough. He's definitely gonna have to be a particular kind of guy. Most importantly, I keep reiterating, most important of all, he has to fear God. Other than that, you're in for a ride.
Unstoppable.
Woo! Okay.
And I'm sure some atheists would disagree with that. I do know some atheists that have been very, very loyal to their spouses. So I'm sure there are some. I have some atheist friends I know would disagree with that. But I think it boils down to what drives a person in point blank. So I do believe that that moral compass from the Lord has taken root in most of men, in the consciousness of men overall, whether you believe in God or not. Go ahead.
This is true.
I still have so many questions.
I did. Let me say this, and first I definitely want to ask, is there anything anyone has to say? But I must say this.
Yeah.
What we have shows like Love and Hip Hop, and we see this. We even had a reality TV show a few years ago where Keisha Cole's sister married to this guy, her husband, and he wanted a threesome for his anniversary. 10 years ago, that was something most black women would never do. That was kind of like the white girl thing.
The norm
white
now.
People listening, I am not racist. I'm just being honest about what I know from my experiences. But after she had the threesome with the husband, they ended up divorced, and the young lady they had the threesome with, he ended up marrying her. And this was very public. It was on a reality show. And it was a wake-up call for me. So with the guys on here, that is a part of our culture now. It's almost in every rap song, every major artist that we listen to, grew up on, they're talking about it now. Kanye, he even talked about giving him a threesome, a meeting at the West End instead of buying him a tire, something of that nature he said, and I was like, okay, whoa. So for the men on here, what advice would you give women? Is that something you should stay away from if you're trying to have a healthy, successful relationship? Or would that prevent the man from cheating because he feels as if he can share that experience with his woman?
Rollo, I want to hear from Rollo first on this one.
Well, when you engage in those type of activities, you're basically being led by the flesh, not of the spirit. And that situation is always going to end up negative. It's just like the title of the show, our side piece is winning. And it's impossible for a side piece, side hoe, side chick to win because that's an oxymoron. because they're losing even if they're winning. What I'm saying is, who is the prize? I mean, you gain a cheater that fits your profile perfectly well. I mean, two negatives only make a positive in algebra. So I mean, any house that's built on shaky foundation is going to collapse, and it's going to be sooner than later. So you got to take all that into account. So wherever you start is where you're going to end up finishing. And I don't know of too many successful relationships that stem from cheating. Period. What women have to understand is the power they withhold. I mean, especially black women, being that we are the original people of the civilization and the most influential in the world today. And we have very little power, very little wealth, very little population in the U.S. But who is the most powerful woman in television? It's Oprah. Who is the most powerful woman in sports? It's Serena. Most successful model as far as television and endorsements is Tyra Banks. Most influential woman in music, we know who that is, Sasha. You know, the influential woman in television series, Kerry Washington, who is taking over reality television, black women. So who is the most influential as far as media besides black women? That says how much power we have. I mean, y'all have.
Wow.
That's what you have to, black women have to recognize. I mean, y'all birthed the nation, and y'all have the ability to lead the nation to great success. But y'all haven't learned how to tap into it. And by demeaning yourself, by subjecting yourself to these type of relationships, then you're only setting the nation back along with our race and the culture, because everybody looks to black women for guidance. And it's deeper than what it really is. I mean, it goes deep. It even goes back to the Garden of Eden when the sister made the brother bite the apple, you know?
It wasn't an apple.
Huh?
Got apple, fruit, grape, banana. It was combination
fruit.
But you know, that's how far it goes, man. That's all I'm just saying. That's how far it goes back.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I just want to shout because I agree 100%.
Yeah, because a man is never considered a home wrecker, right? Man ever considered a home wrecker?
No. I want to touch on that. I want to touch on the original question as well. This is anonymous. I want to touch on that original question.
Okay.
Once I had a young lady. It was some time ago, but she was really into me. She liked my swag, how I carry myself or whatever. So she wanted to do anything to please me or make me feel as though she's the one that needs to be my wife or whatever. So, this is before marriage. She was a nice young lady, but anyway. She made a proposition to me. She's like, well, what do you think about a threesome with her? And the other girl was very attractive. Now, most dudes would have been like, yeah, come on, let's do it. You got two attractive women. You know, why not? But, again, I reiterate, whatever man you select is gonna have to be a man of principle. That's number one fact. I told her no, and she couldn't figure out why I said no. Now this is my reason for saying no. For one, she had never done anything like that before. For two, set the instance we engaged in that, and she liked it, and she liked the woman more so than she liked me. And years down the line, now she don't want a man anymore. She wants a woman. I'm responsible for that. I'm responsible for introducing that to her. Helping her introduce that type of thinking, that way of feeling to her. So there was no way that I was going to be the vessel to leave her away from God. So that alone, she couldn't understand for the life of her why I told her no, I would not do that. I would not participate in anything like that. But the point I'm making is, when you pick years down the line, she respected me for it. She loved me for it. I mean, she understood as she got older why I said no, because I've seen situations where husband and wives participate in things like that, and they end up getting divorced. Now, the wife don't want them no more. She wants the girl that they did the threesome with, and the husband sitting there like, hey, what did I go wrong? You should never have introduced your wife to that. You're responsible.
Wow. I've heard of that happening a lot. I have heard of that happening quite a bit. Too. I want to know. I want all the gentlemen to answer this. I want to know, what are the warning signs a woman is becoming the side chick? For those women out there that really believe, I can just see women now. Am I the only one? Am I really the only one? I really love him. I'm really thinking about starting something with him. And let's just say her mind is in a good place, right? She's got some moral responsibility there. She's a Christian woman, or just whatever the case may be, or she's just your everyday chick who just wants a good man. What are some of the signs, though, that she's actually the side chick? Now, we make a lot of jokes about it, but what are the actual signs that you can help these women with?
Well, I think a lot of times there aren't any signs. Most, I won't even say most, but a lot of women have been a quote-unquote side chick, whether they knew it or not. Some guys are just better at hiding it than other guys. But I think that a lot of times ladies pick the wrong men for the wrong reasons. If women would go after men of character instead of the peacocks, the guys with the millions of dollars and all of the flashy things that they can think of, then I think that they would have better relationships. I mean, for the most part, most guys, like the anonymous caller was saying, you have to have self-control. Most guys are only as faithful as the options that they have before them. And if you have $1,000, then, you have a heck of a lot of options before you. A broke dude cheat. The dude at McDonald's will cheat if he can. So you have somebody like Tiger Woods that, is no boat that I can't buy. It's no diamond I can't buy. Literally, if I wanted to pay NASA to take me to the moon and back, I have enough money for them to train me as an astronaut and fly me off the planet. But I get home and I want to have sex with my wife, and she said, no, my head is hurting. BS, I'm Tiger Woods. I get what I want when I want it. And I mean, the same way a guy would say, oh my God, how did Dave Justice cheat on Halle Berry? She's just beautiful. Because to Dave Justice, a man that had multiple millions of dollars, even though Halle Berry is beautiful, even though Halle Berry had money too, she's a problem for him. Because she's gonna do what she wants to do. Where his 30 chicks lined up that look better than her, that are more promiscuous than her, and that are willing to accommodate every need that he has. So from a guy perspective, part of avoiding that trap is you have to be smart enough to avoid the temptation. If you know that you're going to go somewhere and there are some women there that are attractive, because all men are going to look forever. All men don't cheat, but all men look. And so, you have to avoid that situation. If you know that you like to go to the club and drink, and when you drink, then you lose some of your self-control, drink at home with your wife, man. Don't even put yourself in the situation to be tempted.
Right.
Go ahead.
Well, I want to hear from Chris on this too. Go ahead, Brandon. When you're done, I want to hear on this from you too, because like I want to say first and foremost, all of these gentlemen, to our audience, all of these gentlemen are fine. They are sexy. They look excellent. They have a lot going for themselves. These are men that can really talk about it, okay? These aren't some in the hole, don't know who they are. These men know who they are. These men are stable. They have excellent mentalities, just very healthy mentalities. These men know what they're talking about, and I just really hope that the women and the men are taking in something to help improve their health, their own well-being, you know, because this issue, it is a cultural issue, even though the side chick situation has been around since biblical days. I mean, you know, we have that, you know, I can go on and on. So go ahead, Brandon, with what you were saying. And, Chris, I want to hear from you on this as well, because you are the tall, dark, and handsome, and you're, you cook. And, matter of fact, you work for the Grizzlies. And so you're around a lot of their personal time and the women and things like that. That's not something that still seems to appeal to you, though. So it has a lot. I want to hear more about that mentality. So, Brandon, definitely go ahead with what you're saying. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was wrapping up anyway, but just saying that, you know, a lot of times the lady may not even know, but if she chose a man for the content of his heart and the content of his intellect, as opposed to what he looks like and what he may be able to provide for her that's flashy, you know, because a lot of, I've even heard women say, you know, I'd rather date a married man, because a married man that's cheating, a lot of them are going to go out of the way. They don't mind paying a bill. They don't mind flying you out to a conference with them, because they're just trying to have their thing on the side and do whatever they can do. Whereas and a lot of those ladies feel like, okay, well, he'll only be messing with me and his wife. Whereas if I'm dating a single guy, then I don't have any attachment to him, and he doesn't have any attachment to anybody, so he might be dating 8 or 9 women. I asked him for some money, he tells me to earn it myself. So I think sometimes that being a side chick, the lady actually gets the benefit from the what we call them, from her sponsor. She gets some benefits. He'll pay a bill. He'll take her on trips. He'll do whatever he has to do to keep her there, because he needs to be able to have a ace in the hole when his wife turns her back and he wants to sneak off.
Ooh, that is so true. Oh, you are keeping it real. I love it when they keep it real. I love it. We've been deprived of men to keep it real. Yes, women, y'all need to thank these men, because they are doing probably what your man doesn't, and that's keep it real. So, so let me say this. I just love it. That's attractive to me. That's a turn on. You know, whereas men try to be flashy, the turn on is to keep it real. And I had so many men say to me, well, the reason I lied to you is because I love you and didn't want to hurt you, or I wanted to avoid an argument with you, or I knew you were already upset about this, and I didn't want to exacerbate the situation. And I understand where they're coming from. It is, but I have lied for the exact same reason.
Because they just don't want us to know the truth, because especially since they know we have a good head on our shoulders, that if we know the truth, we will leave.
Now, and see, that was the reason that I lied. So I can't be a hypocrite here. I have lied for the same reason, and I'm keeping it real. But I must say this, for any men that are listening and the men that are on, I'm sure you all know this. But the thing about it is, the truth will hurt, but it does not last forever. That wound heals. But the wound from a lie, it lasts forever. And so many of us have not been capable of giving men what they want in relationships, because we've been deprived of that, and we're wounded from all the past lies in the past relationships. And I know you can't carry that into a present relationship, and people say time heals wounds, but from my experience, time doesn't heal wounds. Prayer heals wounds. Faith heals the wounds. Learning yourself heals the wounds. And learning to forgive, that's what heals the wound. But if men would take the risk and be honest, I think relationships would be better. And I do understand, I can understand not wanting to lose somebody, and you're willing to pretty much tell them whatever you think they want to hear. And that is a sign of love to me. It's ignorant. I know this sounds crazy. So I went through this where they really did care for me. But for the men listening, y'all got to keep it real. And if that woman really loves you and is there for you, she will be there with you through your mistakes. As long as you see that you're growing, you're maturing, and you're trying to do better, if that woman is a real woman, she's going to hang in there with you. So, do you all agree with that?
Yeah, Campbell, I was trying to, before you spoke, Esther had asked me a question, and I was trying to...
yeah, go ahead.
And I do, agree with most of what you said. But to answer that, to keep it real with y'all, when you see a show like, and I was telling somebody this last night, when you see a show like Love and Hip Hop, where, or Real Housewives of Atlanta, or Basketball Wives, that would be a better idea. When you see black women pulling each other's hair, spitting in each other's face, fighting one another, when you see black women kicking one another, when you see them calling each other B's and H's on national TV, and these are women who have money, whether they inherited the money from a divorce or whether they created their own clothing line and they're business owners, regardless of how they got the money, when you see wealthy black women on TV drinking, fighting, scratching, biting, clawing, pulling each other down, you think that a young black man who has money is going to go after a young black woman? No, he's not. Those shows have destroyed the image of the black woman in this country. Because who wants to take that home to his mama? Who wants to take that home to be the mother of his kids? Nobody. Nobody wants the drama queen rolling her eyes, rolling her neck, telling him what she ain't gonna do and telling him what he better do, or she gonna divorce him and take half of his stuff. Ain't no black man. Ain't nobody going for that. So what happens is the black woman, the single black woman, is starving for love and affection and a family in this country. She is starving for it. And so when I'm sitting at the game, I see the black women wearing the tightest jeans, the tightest clothes they can find, parading in front, spending her last money to get a front row seat or as close as she can get to the front row, hoping to be seen by one of the players, hoping to be seen by one of the players of the opposing team. But you know what? He'll look at you for what you're doing. He'll look at you as somebody who is parading in front of him because he knows you just want to be seen and you're going to be treated as such.
So what if parading gets you in the door, though? So is there something wrong with it?
That's what you become. You become a part of the circus. You become a part of the parade. Because if you parade yourself in front of me, I'm going to look at you like you part of the parade. Because that's what you see, that's what you're selling. You are selling when you parade your butt, that's what you're selling. When you show me cleavage, that's what you're selling. You see, if you sell me a bag of cookies, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, because I want to
Gentlemen, what do you say about that?
I said, because smart men, don't view any side chick as a prize, nor does he respect.
Yep, just something to do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they know, smart men know and understand. They know and understand that there's a lack of.
But why do that to the wives or the main girls? You see what I mean?
Well, just to play the devil's advocate, there may be a lot of times when a guy has a girlfriend or a wife, sex was the last thing that he married her for. If you marry a woman for sex, then in my opinion, you're just a dummy anyway. So a lot of times, as men, a lot of men have been around, have been promiscuous, and it's a lot of ladies that do a lot of tricks. And that kind of makes me understand why God would say don't have sex before marriage. Because if both of you all agree, then you're learning each other and you don't know what you're missing. But after you've had a chick do a triple back flip with a spin and some whipped cream, and then your wife tells you that we can only have conventional sex for 15 minutes and then it's over, sooner sooner or later, that flesh factor of you is going to seek what you had before. And
okay, now this I want to interject. I want to just interject on that. That is an excellent point. And we have we're at 3:20. Okay, so we got about 10 minutes. So I want to say that is a really good point, because a lot of wives, especially like first marriages, those first marriages, I want to take the time to say this. I was thankful to learn a lot of my mistakes, recognize them within the first couple years of my marriage. My separation was due to other things, and then that's when the women were coming in. And then we were literally physically separated from each other for 2.5 years, and then tried to get back, and then it was issues then, because by that time Pandora's box had been opened. But prior to that, I used to ask my husband, what is it that I'm not giving you? And I would ask this early on, and I think it's the only reason why we lasted pretty much as long as we did, because I was like, I want to please you. I want to know, what is it? What are some patterns that I have that have not been healthy for you? What are some things that I've done that have made you, if you feel like you need to step away or like you need a break, do you feel any of that? And he was open about, and he would tell me, he would say, no, you're really a great wife. But then he would say, what was it? I'm trying to think back, y'all. But one of the things that I said, was the sex okay? Let me know something for the next relationship. He and I have a pretty good relationship. And he was just like, nah, Essence, there wasn't anything going on with that. Well, hold on, let me finish this. And so my thing is, a lot of wives, they need to hear this. They don't do the kinky sex. They're like, oh, no, I'm not going to go down. No, I don't like anal. No, I don't want to do this or do that. That's just something I'm not going to do. But if that's something that your husband has made clear that he kind of would desire, or if it's something that that you've never even tapped into before, I think that's just like, you need to have those conversations, because that is something that can really become an issue down the road in marriage. And so I think it's, the not cooking, we both work and I take care of the kids, like, that can't happen. That selfishness can't be there. I think that awareness has to stay there for that husband, you know what I mean, and for that wife, so that it's not easy for Satan to kind of kick in the door or come through the window, So what do you gentlemen feel about that?
Let me say this. Let me say really quick, really briefly. I agree with you, Essence. A woman definitely needs to stay on her toes and not get relaxed. Say, hey, I got him now.
And that happens a lot.
Take that out your brain, because you have to keep a man there. You have to keep a man. Once you got him, you got to keep him. It's like having money. You got to keep money. It's harder to lose money than to get it. All right. Another thing I want to say, a lot of times, women, you guys, it's not that you're doing something wrong or doing something right or not doing something wrong. It could have nothing to do with you on why your man has a side woman. He may just want to escape reality. When he comes home to you, he got to worry about the bills. He got to worry about cutting the grass. He go over there with the side girl. He ain't got to worry about none of that.
True story.
And what do you feel about that? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Gentlemen, get out as much as you can, because we have 5 minutes left, and I want to hear from everyone. So keep your answers sweet and short.
I just want to say.
Go ahead. I'm going to get the closing discussion.
I just want to say, women, a lot of times it has nothing to do with you while your man has a side chick.
I completely agree. Agree. And I think we got to stop blaming ourselves for that. And, like Chris was saying, having it, I agree. I think a lot of men have struggles within themselves. And it's not necessarily the woman. It's the outside motivation, the reason he does what he does. He could have been molested when he was younger. He could have sexual dysfunctional issues from things that we don't know about. He could just be weak and just love women and don't have any resistance from temptation. So I completely agree with that, but I got to chime in, you all, and say this. And we're going to do a part 2. Everybody is requesting it, so we got to bring y'all back on. But I'm going to say this. King David, he had many concubines. He had plenty of side chicks, and he had plenty of women. And
it brought blood to his house.
And in the process of this, he ended up getting one of the young ladies pregnant. And he ended up having her husband murdered because he couldn't find a way to blame the pregnancy on her. It's nothing new under the sun. This happens, and King David was the only man that God said was after God's own heart. So that leads me to believe that man's heart can be pure and can be good and can actually be a believer of the Lord and trying to live better. But it was simply his weakness. But he was still a man after God's own heart.
Exactly. Nor was the Holy Spirit in man at the time.
That's true, but a lot of men now don't. And we can't really debate on who does and who doesn't. All we can do is deal with the issues and the symptoms and work down to the root. So I must say, this passed down to his son. King Solomon did the exact same thing his father did. He had plenty of women, plenty of side chicks. That's what a concubine is, a side chick. It's nothing new. And it ended up leading to him worshiping idols. And I know that seems extreme. You might not have a little wood thing in your house that you worship. You may not have a fat Buddha that you worship. But sometimes a woman's body can become an idol. Sometimes an orgasm. They say ain't nothing better than coochie with your gal than new coochie. You know, so sometimes that becomes the idol. And I have to say, in order for us to bring some type of change, we're going to have to pay attention to the things that happened before us, learn from these things, go back and read these stories, and see how it applies to you and how you can better yourself to have a healthy relationship. But I must say I agree with everyone on here. I appreciate your points of view. But with the rate that we're going now, 54% of black women are single. I believe a lot of this is why. And women are the reflection of men because men are created to be the head. So I believe all of the issues that you all notice within women is a reflection of the issues within the men that are supposed to lead us. And the more men begin to lead, the more men carry themselves in such a way. That's the reason why we became like this now. That's why we're bringing other women home to try to satisfy our men. And so if men be the head, lead, I think women will learn how to submit, and women will begin to change things in their character to attract this good man. And I know y'all might disagree with this, but he created you all as the head. And we need to be able to rely on our black men to teach us. Many of us didn't have fathers. So we need a black man to show us what a man should be. And a lot of women simply don't know because they never had that example in their home. So we're definitely going to do a part 2. Definitely. Did you have anything else to say, sis, or any other guests?
Well, definitely. I want to say, hold on one second, gentlemen. I just want to go ahead and get this out. Be sure to visit XCaramel24 on YouTube. That's Campson's YouTube page. She has a lot of spiritual information on that page. Be sure to check out my book, Wisdom and Red, The Words of Jesus. It's available on Amazon, or just Google it in different stores, apps. And so we're about to have to close out now, gentlemen. We just want to say thank you so much. I know that there was more that people wanted to get out. We wanted to get out more. We really appreciate you guys. Campson, you want to go ahead and shut out with anything else?
Yes, and I must say, shout out to Ebony Sky. You have been on here with us since the very beginning. I do appreciate you so much. I was kind of quiet today. I really wanted to let everybody else's points of view be made known to our audience. So shout out to you. Shout out to guest 1534 and everyone else that has listened in today. Please share this episode. You can go to our Facebook page, which is under Campson Jackson. My name is on the profile. And check out Essence page. Everything is on the profile. We are not hard to find. We're there. If you need any information to keep up or follow us, we will be sure to give that before every show and at the end of every show. And I just want to thank everybody. So get excited. Get your questions together. Whatever you got to say, some skeletons y'all got in the closet, pull them out, because we're going to raise some bones next week, baby.
Yes.
So get ready.
Thank you once again, all of you gentlemen, Rollo, Brandon, Chris, Anonymous, the lady that called. We just really appreciate all of you guys so much. All right, and we'll see you guys, when is it? Next week, Saturday, 9 p.m.
Yes. All right,
Sis,
we
got
closing
anything
out with one. Misbehaved by Savvy Rocket.
Oh, God. Help me in this situation.